So he said all of that just to say Helen Zille is a racist and she's washed up and you mustn't vote for her. Ladies and gentlemen, is your favorite black boy on the internet. And as always, we are a gift that keeps on giving. Today we are talking about none other than our favorite female on the internet. Here's this side. This is our favorite female on the internet, Peter Grill. Ladies and gentlemen, apparently he's mad at the people who've taken their time to read DA policy and decided on 24 May to go to the polls and vote for the DA. He's also mad at the people who will be voting for the DA next year. He's also mad at the people who will be voting for the DA in 2029. Ladies and gentlemen, he's going to be mad. Our favorite lady. Don't you like this one? Don't you like this one? High IQ, ladies and gentlemen. Because I've never been this insulted in my entire life. So let us try to use our faculties of reason and take this insult. I had this and I thought I cannot hear this alone. I need the good people of South Africa who've voted Democratic Alliance, the young and the old, to hear what Peter Grill thinks about them, right? So,
look, if you're still planning on voting for the Democratic Alliance in next year's local election, I think there is something mentally, psychologically, and intellectually wrong with you.
I think something is wrong with the people who just need to hold a plan, before starting a video talking about politics, a plan that has nothing to do with the video. I think something should be checked in the minds of the people who do this before starting a video. But we digress. Apparently we are mentally challenged because we are still planning on voting for the DA. Katlego, citizen concerned, hello. They say we are mentally disturbed for voting for the DA. What do you have to say about that? June, come.
Gordon Hill Lewis, mayor of Cape Town, capitalist and neoliberal, recently said that if you cannot afford to live in a certain area in Cape Town, you should not be living there. And he was
telling facts. On that particular point, Lewis was telling facts. Now, if you look at it from a political point of view, or from a politically correct point of view, where you're trying now to virtue signal about black people, racism, not being able to afford Cape Town, what Peter Grill is saying will make sense to you. But if you are a student of economics, you understand the economics. You understand that Cape Town is mostly a tourism hub, and that is where mostly foreign money lands in South Africa, really, as far as tourism is concerned. So of course the houses are going to be highly priced because they serve a different market of people who come from different countries to invest money into our own economy of South Africa, and good for the people of Cape Town. When did we start hating foreign direct investment? If you are a person who does economics, you will know that foreign direct investment is a good thing, especially if it happens in the legal market. People like myself and most people in the DA, we are opposed to illegal immigration. Of course, we can argue that Helen she's accepting of illegal foreigners to be here. In fact, she wants them to be documented. I disagree with her on that, but still I'm going to vote for the DA because as far as governance is concerned, they seem to be working. They've perfected something that I haven't seen anywhere else across South Africa. When I'm in the Western Cape, I really feel that, I'm in a different country. And of course, they are servicing a different market. A market that invests money into South Africa. What we do not want is illegal immigration. But if you are a foreigner in South Africa investing money here legally, kudos to you. And if you can afford to live in Cape Town where you enjoy luxury and things like that, bringing money here and creating jobs, kudos to you. I cannot afford to live in Camps Bay. I cannot now go to Cape Town and cry about me not being able to afford to live or stay in Camps Bay. I just go visit, just like, hey, it's nice. Let me go to the beach. Let me see the ocean. Other than that, I'm out. I'm out. I cannot afford to live there. I cannot afford to stay there. But twats like this want to come here and vitch a signal.
Compared digital nomads, foreign nationals coming to South Africa, raising property prices, tax, as well as our freedom to choose housing and where we'd like to live in our country. He compared foreign nationals.
Bro, this kid is so dumb. This kid is so dumb, bro. The problem in South Africa right now is that people do not have jobs. We cannot afford anything. We cannot afford basic housing. We cannot afford petrol. People cannot afford their lifestyles. He's worried about staying in Camps Bay. You see, he's even out of touch. Most black people in this country just want to be able to afford a young townhouse, 1 or 2 cars here and there, take their kids to a good school that's going to give them an education, be able to afford their own health care, and just get on with life, provide for their families. Most people in South Africa are focused on that. He wants to stay in Camps Bay. And then he calls it his freedom to choose where to live because he's outpriced. It's like, bro, do you know Sandhurst, where Abu Maumela and Abu Ramaphosa stay? I cannot afford to stay there. I bet you people like Peter Krill are gonna say, there's no freedom to choose where to stay because we are outpriced, because they are racist. Ain't that amazing? Ain't that amazing, bro? Damn. But they catapulted him, they put him up there. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the idiots that mainstream media and some prominent people within our society, these are the types of people that, they make famous, they give money and donations to. These are the voices they promote. But the truth, they don't have no time like that. People like myself, they don't have no time for people like me who tell the truth. Because that is just basic sense. Like, you don't even need to be educated. You do not need a college degree to understand what I'm saying right now, because it's common sense. There's a lot of places in South Africa where people like you and I can afford to stay. And a lot of people stay there, A lot of people are taught, live below your means, live within your means. No, this guy over here wants to go choose to stay and compete with millionaires in Camps Bay. And when they out clap his white ass, he comes complaining that, what? My freedom to choose. This is what we call white privilege. It's not even about color, in fact. It's about snobbish privilege. Snobs like this, you find them in every race. He's complaining about staying in Camps Bay. Completely misaligned with the reality of most people in South Africa. These are your heroes. This person cannot relate to your everyday life. He cannot relate. He's out there getting money, going to China, speaking on behalf of black people. He cannot relate to nothing.
Buying up South African land and housing, he compared them to other South Africans in different provinces coming to Cape Town, who should be an asset to the Western Cape government because they can be allocated to sustainable working positions.
And who's going to create those working positions? Is it not private individuals who bring usually foreign money into Cape Town, investing into the economy and giving employment? Like, he's not even aware of what he's trying to say.
Where they can uplift the Western Cape economy for disadvantaged communities. Because let's be honest, when he said you should not be living in certain areas if you cannot afford it, he meant the good areas. He meant Sea Point. He meant
Ladies and gentlemen, do you know Sea Point? Like people, I feel like some people need to travel South Africa. If you get a chance, just go somewhere. Have you Sea Point? Have you seen Sea Point? I want to go to Sea Point visiting, visiting for like maybe a week or two and come back. I cannot afford to stay there. It's impossible right now in this climate. The problem is not Cape Town or the housing markets over there. The problem is we live within a country where the government has made it virtually impossible to afford housing anywhere in the country. It's not just about Camps Bay or whatever. Camps Bay is even built by private individuals. Those houses that you see there, built by individuals who got money like that. They got it like that. Niggas are parking helicopters over there. Private jets. Niggas are putting private jets over there, man. Niggas got jet skis. Man. Niggas got parachutes in Camps Bay, Sea Point. Niggas got trust funds. Niggas are millionaires. Niggas are balling. He's crying about staying there. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. He's a dummy. He's dumb. He doesn't understand basic economics. He just wants to come to the internet and virtue signal and cry about not affording, even though he's getting the money, he's getting the gigs, going to China, speaking on behalf of black people, and he's a young white boy. Ain't that amazing? His life must be very nice. Telling you, man.
Camps Bay. We're talking about the normal working class people who cannot afford a normal life in Cape Town because they have to use all their money for transport and safety measures and traveling and all of this because spatial apartheid still exists.
He said all of that to arrive to apartheid. He said all of that garbage to arrive to apartheid. It doesn't even make sense. But nothing has to make sense to these people. They just have to say apartheid, black people are oppressed, Helen Zille hates you, therefore vote for the ANC. I wouldn't be surprised that this boy is put in front of the media by the ANC. ANC is paying for all of this. Just as we recently established that the ANC is behind News 24 propaganda. This was made very known to us by the propaganda they pushed with the Afrikaners who wrote a letter that Bona, they are heartful of America and Trump. A PSYOP, psychological operation. This boy is an agent of the Matrix. They always talk about the Matrix. We don't talk about the Matrix over here, but ladies and gentlemen, a PSYOP. Stay with me now. This is a PSYOP. We shouldn't look at ourselves as South Africans, no. We should be black victims who hate the Indians, who hate the colored, who hate the English, who hate the Jewish, who hate the Boere, who hate everybody because we are oppressed, we are victims. We shouldn't look at ourselves as South Africans. When I come here and I say, you see this flag over here, I put it there. No, they hate it. I shouldn't be out here as a young black boy talking about South Africa must unite and we must push against racists like this. About Peter Krill. This is a real racist. They'll call Ronaldo a racist because he was mad at Malema saying the K word, and then he said it in reverse saying, if the situations were reversed, they called him a racist. That is not racism. That is an illusion of racism. This is actual racism over here, where they try to psychologically manipulate you into believing that when you go vote, don't think about nothing. Don't think about economic policy. Don't think about illegal immigration. Do not think about that you cannot afford your life. You cannot even start a business and make it succeed. Don't think about none of that. Think about only the fact that you are black and you are a victim. This is what these people want. I find it rather very amazing. Ain't that amazing?
In Cape Town. And now you want to send a washed-up politician like Helen Zille to come and try
Disrespectful.
and run Joburg when she's not
He said, go smashed up. Disrespectful.
even tried to touch the spatial apartheid that clearly is visible from space in the Western province. Helen Zille, stay away.
So he said all of that just to say Helen Zille is a racist and she's washed up and you mustn't vote for her. That's your favorite. That's what they give to you, ladies and gentlemen. They'll give you a Peter Grill because most black people do not want to wake up to the reality of the fact that it is not about skin color, bro. There's the powers that be do not want South Africans to unite. Imagine if all 64 million South Africans united against politicians using a political machinery that serves the interests of the people. Even the DA is just a by the way. We're just using the DA. For now, we're just using them. Because we still need a movement in South Africa that says, you are a South African, and because you are a South African, you deserve all the opportunities only to real South Africans. We need employment in this country. We need to be able to afford rent. We need to be able to afford cars and shit. Now we can do none of that shit. These people are busy telling us about race. Peter Grill is crying about not being able to afford to stay in Camps Bay. He wants to stay in Camps Bay where the millionaires stay. Completely unrelated to our realities, ladies and gentlemen. And these are the people that they give to you. These are the false idols that are going to sing to you that you are oppressed, you are a victim, you are a whatever, distracting you from what is happening in South Africa. That is about as great a distraction can get, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, hit that sub button, hit that like button, and open the notifications, because we are here. We the people see the truth, spread the truth, and nothing but the truth. Hi IQ, tell me if you like this one. And Peter Grill, you can go fuck yourself. Yes, I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen.